I think we'll keep that in. Welcome back. This is Build a Case. I build a Lego set. I talk about a true crime case that relates to the Lego set somehow, and I talk about the case while I build the set. This one's a big stretch, but I have a lot to say about this case and about this set. Wha-bam, the plum blossoms. Along with this set, I will be talking about Colleen Stan, also known as the girl in the box. I think this set is very similar to this case because it represents hope, femininity, and protection. You'll see how those relate as we get into the case, but this is a very beautiful set. It came out very recently. It came out sometime last year with the chrysanthemums, which I already have. And so this was just to get the rest of my collection. They also came out with the bamboo, which I already have a case ready for that. And then they have some mini orchids. I already did a Build-A-Case with the OG Lego orchid sets, but they came out with these baby ones to match with these guys. I personally really don't like that set because I don't like the vase. I don't like the colors of the orchids. I just don't like how it looks that much. So I think I'll be skipping on that, but the chrysanthemums, this, and the bamboo, I'm a huge fan of. So you'll be seeing a Build-A-Case with the bamboo pretty soon, but today we're talking about this set. Before we get to build the case, I do want to say that out of all of the scripts I've written so far, this is one of the worst cases I've talked about, or that I have planned for a while now at least. I have about 6 scripts written with certain sets that I plan and certain cases that I plan. I think there's only one that could contend with what I'm gonna talk about today in terms of how horrible it is. And so this is definitely one of the worst ones. Viewer discretion is advised. I'm gonna be censoring a lot of the things I'm saying. You'll still get the full picture. Just no like actual pictures of what happened. I will show pictures of the perpetrators, the victim, just anything I could find, get my hands on. It's all gonna be appropriate, I promise. But if this is the first time you're seeing one of my videos, I would appreciate if you watch it all the way through. Let me know what I could change, let me know what I did well, and let's build a case. So I still don't have a knife, but I have some scissors. Okay, I didn't need scissors. They have the little thumb holes. I bought this set a few weeks ago and I've yet to get any paper bags. I don't think it's a big thing, but I know Lego's switching from a plastic to paper. And so there's like a mix of paper and plastic. Some sets are coming out with like full paper bags. I've not gotten one yet and I'm a little sad, but it comes with 3 bags. Looks like this is the biggest one. Okay, let's get into the case. Oh, look at this. It's really cute. Wait, look at that. Oh my God. I'm very excited to build this. Let's talk about the case. It was May 19th, 1977. Colleen Stan decided to hitchhike from Eugene, Oregon to Northern California to visit a friend. Nowadays, we hear horror stories all the time about hitchhikers and how you shouldn't hitchhike, but in the 1970s, it was a huge thing. It wasn't super common, but it definitely wasn't perceived as not normal. It's not as untrustworthy as it is today to hitchhike or to pick up hitchhikers. She was 20 years old, and for the most part, she would rely on trust and kindness in her life. So pretty much she was just a very nice person. In this instance of her riding, she had already declined 2 rides as she mostly relied on her intuition to guide her, which, you know, that makes sense. I wouldn't hitchhike, but I wouldn't be riding with a stranger if I didn't trust them, even if everything like seemed okay on the outside. Because, you know, I feel like that's the thing. Everyone for the most part seems normal. Of course, you have like the obligatory creeps and weirdos, but that is until Cameron Hooker. Hooker is his last name. When I say hooker, I'm not saying she's a hooker or someone in the family's a hooker, or, I'm not referring to the job. I'm referring to Cameron Hooker or his wife or, the family. It's illegal. Cameron Hooker was seemingly harmless. He was just a chill dude, chill guy. He was riding with his wife Janice and their baby in the car. They stopped to offer her a ride, and since there was a girl, there was a baby, she just felt very safe with the family. But even though Colleen felt assured, she felt safe, she was wrong. Look at this, guys. So I really like these smaller sets. They're $30, but like they're just such good decor pieces. And I especially love this. This piece originally came with the Unikitty from the Lego movie, and I've just seen it used in so many good ways, but like I love this. It's so good. So they drove for a while. They even stopped at a gas station where Colleen used the bathroom. She did state later on that at the time she had a weird feeling. She thought, something was wrong. She didn't like how things were going, and she thought to herself that she should just run from the family. And against her better judgment, there were no red flags. She didn't see any reason as to why she should run, and so she ended up just going back. But not long after that, Cameron had pulled off the highway. As he brought her farther from civilization, he talked about wanting to see some caves, investigate some caves. He stopped the car near a lake and told his wife to take their child and go play in the water. Once they left, Cameron entered the back seat, pulled out a knife, and proceeded to place it against Cameron's throat, overpowering her. He subdued her and placed her head in a head box. It was a wooden trap designed to disorient whoever was inside it by stopping oxygen, light, and sound from coming through properly. This is where I'll tell you that Cameron and Janice had planned out this entire thing. It was premeditated, not like Colleen specifically. It was just they went out there specifically to find and kidnap a young girl. Cameron, a lumber mill worker, had a history of violent sexual fantasies as he sought out a slave. Janice, under Cameron's psychological control, agreed to help him abduct a woman, believing that this arrangement would help keep Cameron from abusing her. And that's really crazy, and that's really sad, because I think about, you ever watch TikToks and you ever see those videos where a girl talks about all the things that their ex had done before they broke up, and they're like reading this stuff out loud, and you're like, I shouldn't be smiling.
Sent me a text saying, oh my god, a girl just hit on me at the gym, and a month later I found out they were having an affair, and when I confronted him about it, he said that he liked her. And he wasn't gonna stop texting her.
No, it's really sad. It's like people really be letting themselves go against their better judgment. I'm sure this is probably something an abusive boyfriend or husband has brought up to their significant other, as like they're probably thinking like, I control my wife or my girlfriend, she's not gonna say no. I don't know, I feel like that happens a lot. It's not good, guys. Oh my god, it's okay. Anyway, I don't think it's as crazy as, hey, significant other, let's go kidnap a young lady and I'll make them my slave so I don't have to abuse you. You know? Yeah. I don't think it's that crazy, but there's definitely some shady people out there. You may be thinking, well, there probably are couples out there who are like that, just because people, they really are crazy. Let me tell you guys what happened on Colleen's first night as a slave. I don't know if I have to blur that word out. Physically abused her while she was hung up by her hands, and then later in the night, he strung up her body above his bedroom and then proceeded to have sex with his wife as she was just like above them. And that's That's a crazy thing to happen. I read that and I'm like, this can't be real, but it is. And I think about it, and there are a lot of crazy people out there. And it reminds me, okay, now I've never thought about this for a long time in my head, so I don't know how it's gonna come out like verbally, but it reminds me when those clubs would have the dancers in the cages. You guys know what I'm talking about? That's consensual, but it's definitely like some sort of like weird kink for people. Or I don't know, I saw it on TikTok where this girl was talking about how much she made. She was nude. She was just on a table with sushi and people were eating sushi off of her, and she just laid there. They didn't touch her, but I guess it's just a thing for people. I just realized I don't have my light on. Let me see if it makes a difference. Okay, I turned my light on. I don't know if it makes a difference. All I know is you could see the glare back there. If it's not good, I'll change it for next video, but I'll just cover the glare. No, I'm gonna be centered, whatever. But yeah, look at this, guys. This is really cute. Now I just gotta put these on. Guys, sand blue is like such a good color. Like, look at this. This is so fun and fresh. Do I put, wait, is that it? Is that how I put it? Yeah. Okay. Wha-bam! Look at that. I just gotta put these on, I think. Sorry I keep looking this way. I have my monitor, and the reason I have it here instead of over there is so I could like press, so I could, you know, change focus. Look at that. Oop, bruh. There we go. Look at that. So they captured Colleen, and for Colleen, survival was compliance. Cameron exerted control through a combination of physical torture, psychological manipulation, and the company. Now, the company was a fake organization that he made up to make Colleen more scared. Cameron claimed the company monitored Colleen's every move. They would kill her family if she ever tried to run or escape or didn't obey. This was to scare her into submission, and it worked. She was very scared of the company. And you'll see there were a lot of times where she could have escaped and didn't because of her fear of the company. Cameron and his wife even created a slave contract, forcing Colleen to agree to total submission. It stripped Colleen of any sense of autonomy, and instead of her name being Colleen, they referred to her as Kay. She had to refer to Cameron as master, and the agreement with Janice was that there would be no penetration. I don't get it, but Colleen was only there to bring the abuse away from Janice, and it wasn't for him to hook up like with the slave whenever he wanted. You know, there were still rules he had to abide by with the wife. It was for Cameron's bondage fetish, his abuse fetish, but you'll see later on this changed. It didn't stay like this. Bag numero dos. So excited. So it looks like we're just building up the flowers now. The other bag is also for the flowers. Actually, this, it looks like it's more of like the base of the branches, but yeah, look at this. It's a little mortar from Clash of Clans. I'll leave that there. Back to the case, I guess. So Colleen endured physical, psychological, and sexual abuse throughout her entire time being there. But they did differ on the stages of when she was there. She was isolated for the majority of the time. She was starved and allowed minimal human interactions. It was pretty much just Cameron and his family that she was able to talk to. Speaking of family, they had moved into a mobile home where Janice gave birth to their second child on the family waterbed that they had inside. And then under that bed was 3 feet by 6 feet by 2 feet tall wooden box. And that's where they kept Colleen the entire time. They would only let her out a few times out of the day. Other than that, she was just in there. She was in there for years. In the summertime, it would be super humid. She'd be sweating, it'd be hot. stinky, sticky. And then in the wintertime, she'd be super cold. And what this setup did is it allowed Cameron to have control over her, because as time went on, as she was affected more by nature around her, it pretty much made her succumb to Cameron, and that she wasn't able to do much. Okay, so I have this and I'm still building it up. I feel like a sharp pain in my back, like I'm getting stabbed. You guys ever feel that, like sharp pains? How do you deal with that? Do you have somebody just like elbow your back, like to flatten it all out? You know how they have that? I don't know if you guys seen that. Dude, I need that. I need like a big like 6-foot black man to just like right here. Dude, oh. It's okay. It's okay, guys. I'm chill. So over time, Colleen's confinement became a little more lenient. Although everything she did was still dictated by Cameron, she was occasionally allowed to leave the box. I built this right? No, I didn't build this right. Oh. Dude, this is like the one set where they don't give me a brick separator, but it's fine because I have like 1,000 brick separators. Well, I have like 60 brick separators to be more realistic. That's why you gotta pay attention to these instructions, guys. You can't be telling silly stories. This is not silly. This is a true event. I apologize, Colleen, I'm sorry. But yeah, because of Colleen's fear over the company, Cameron was able to keep control of her. She was allowed to occasionally leave the box to do housework. She would cook, she would babysit, and crazy enough, Cameron's manipulations went as far as to allow her to visit her family in 1981. So this is 3 years after she was originally kidnapped. She went completely MIA, but Cameron allowed her to visit her family by herself. And you may be thinking, this is it. This is where she escapes. We're over halfway through this set. You know, we're gonna be done like in a bit. She didn't make any attempts to hint, to run, to escape. She didn't do anything. She was so scared of the company. She simply went, visited her family, and then went back to Cameron. Now, maybe you're asking yourself, what did the family do? Did they not question where she was for 3 years? Did, they not talk to her? This is what I thought too until I read a little more into it. So Colleen's family noticed that she was very thin. She was quiet, she was withdrawn, and since she had no money, her clothes was like all rags and homemade, and since she was like gone for so long and coming back and like acting different, they thought she was in a cult. They thought like, oh, our daughter joined a cult, and they were scared that if they brought this up or if they brought up anything, that she would disappear and they wouldn't see her again. And so that's why her family was more so just like, they were just happy to see her. No way. Wait, did I mess this up? What the heck? Actually, okay, this is okay. But yeah, I think that makes sense. And like, at first I judged the family. I even wrote it into the script. Like, what the hell was a family thing? Are you stupid? What? But no, I was just overreacting. Like, it totally makes sense. I'd be scared too. But like, it's crazy that they had, a cult would have been better. What she was going through was like insane. Wha-bam. Look at that, guys. Stop focusing on me. Dude, it's like I'm fighting with AI. Look at that. There we go. So after visiting her family, she was able to go back, but she went back with Cameron, who posed as her boyfriend. He controlled the situation and essentially just made sure that the family was off their backs. That he wouldn't have to worry about them. Move this way. Oh my God, guys. Hey, for my birthday, could somebody buy me like a massage place? Or like one of those massage guns? Or just buy me like a whole chair, not a massage chair. This one squeaks a lot. Can you guys hear that? Yeah, it's pretty loud. This chair was actually free. I got it from the street, cleaned it up a little. Like, here, let me show you guys. Cause it's a pretty nice chair. Look at it. It's wood, it has a cushion. And I realized not too long ago that it's adjustable. Anyway, but yeah. Pretty much his main goal with visiting was to make sure that the family was off their backs. You know, he was probably in a house like Chris Pratt with the Raptors. Like, she's not in a cult. I'm joking. I'm not. All right, it's a stupid joke. I was reading it and it's like, that's all I could think of. That's all I thought. Like, oh, he's like Chris Pratt. No, he's not Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt is worse. Colleen still didn't say anything because she was scared of the company and she was just worried to put her family in danger. Which, I mean, I guess it just works. Like, to use fear in such a strong way that like it overrides any other emotion, because that's exactly what happened. Her fear of her family being hurt, or the company, it's essentially what allowed fear to cloud her judgment over any other emotion like logic, instinct, running. But she was just very happy to see her family, and so above all else, like, that was it. Like, she was happy. And since she was happy to see her family, her mom grabbed this picture. It's her and Cameron together, posing. That smile of hers is genuine just because she was able to see her family. She was having a good time. But it's just, looking at that photo, you would have never guessed the things that Cameron, right next to her, had her do or go through for 3 years, and more than 3 years, you'll see. Despite her circumstances, she was extremely resilient. She found small ways to maintain hope and her sense of identity and her dignity, holding on to the thought that one day she would be able to escape and she would find a way to escape the company without having to worry about her family being injured. Which, like, that was just a huge thing that was, in the back of her mind. In the back of my mind. Anyway, I think I'm missing something because, I have this all built up. There's one missing and I don't know where or what. Let me see. What? I don't get it. Wait. Okay. I think I'll do that and then this. So this is just like a little taller, which, I mean, it's going off screen, but look at that. Dude, I said this in my video with the orchids, but I just love how much space they take up. Cause like, of course, it's a lot of negative space. Cause with the typical set, you're building blocks. And so a $30 normal set may be like this big. It's cause all the blocks are, condensed. With this, like, look at this. It has a lot of value. I really like that. Back to the case. So after allowing Colleen to see her family for, 2 days straight, he thought to himself, well, you're actually getting too much freedom. And so he stripped away all of her freedoms once again. He kept her inside of the box for 23 hours of the day. She was only let out for about an hour. Cameron even told his kids that Kay had gone home, when in reality, whenever the kids would go to sleep, he would take Colleen out of the box and just start abusing her. And then after an hour would just put her back inside the box. And it was like that for 3 years. 3 years straight. That was a routine. After those 3 years in 1984, Colleen finally got her freedom back. Not her escaping, she just wasn't confined to the box for, all hours of a day minus one. But she was finally allowed to, do what she did before, except now she was able to get a job. She got a job as a maid in a motel, and she was just given like a lot more freedom because Cameron wanted Colleen to be his second wife. Now, this was a turning point for Janice because that was never a part of the arrangement. And wait a minute, do I have it here somewhere? I don't. Pretty much, there's this fictional character that Cameron really wanted Colleen to be like, and this is sort of like, oh, Cameron broke his rules to his wife, but there's this character who was R-worded in this book he liked, and he wanted Colleen to be like that character, and so that's what he did. And that's sort of like, even though the initial agreement was like there would be no penetration, no, none of that, Cameron just got what he wanted. But back to the main point. So Janice grew increasingly conflicted because she herself had endured multiple years of manipulation, physical abuse, sexual abuse, and she began questioning Cameron's treatment toward Colleen. Because what Cameron did was essentially the same exact thing that Cameron did to her all those years ago before they got married. And so Cameron bringing up to Colleen like, hey, I want you to be my second wife, this made Janice think like, he did this to me, I went through this, I don't want this to happen to this poor girl. In the most pivotal moment, Colleen revealed that the company was a lie. And guys, that's when Colleen locked in. She locked in, guys. She went into the Avatar stage. She hit him with the dun. Remember when Aang did that? I don't know. He did that in The Legends of Korra. I don't know how many of you watched that. Janice or Colleen didn't do anything crazy. She just walked out. But yeah, it was just like a moment of realization for her. And it's like, Janice told her like, yeah, the company's fake. Colleen just sort of like, she just left. But instead of going to the police, what she did was she went to a bus stop. She called Cameron and said, hey, I'm leaving you. And then she took a bus home. And then for the next 3 months, she called Cameron and the Hooker family occasionally and was just like, hey, give yourself up. Like, they're coming for you. Like, there's no escape. I know the company's fake. Like, just give yourself up. And she did this for 3 months. Now, the reason she did this was because Janice requested it. And, Janice is the homie. She's a victim herself. They connect. Last bag, guys. I'm so sad to see you go so soon. After 3 months, Janice had enough and she reported Cameron herself. Police grabbed very detailed testimonies from both Janice, the wife, and Colleen. And with the both of that, it was just a pretty clear-cut case, and he was then arrested. In 1985, Cameron was put on trial. Colleen's testimony and Janice's cooperation with law enforcement were critical in ensuring his conviction. And Cameron, I want you guys to guess how long Cameron got. It's not one of those cases where like they were lenient. Like, he got a nice long while. He didn't get life in prison. He got more than that. Life in prison is like 40 years, I think. I think that's considered like a life sentence. Or, I don't know, it might just be like for life. Cameron got 104 years in prison for kidnap, R-word, and various other charges. And I'm like, wow. They gave him that Eisen sentencing.
Where you will remain for 18,800 years.
Like, you guys know that meme where the judge is like,
I hereby sentence you to 2,500 consecutive life sentences plus 1,000 years. Once you pass away, you will receive an attempted escape charge with an additional 200 years being added to your sentence, which you will begin serving in the afterlife once you get to hell. Should you be reincarnated after your death?
we are almost finished, I think. There's only 6 pages left in this manual, yet it looks like I have to build some flowers. I'm assuming they're just a few repeat flowers, but we have this next branch here. We gotta connect these little guys. We gotta #1 victory royale. You guys know that one? So it looks like it goes in like the same way. Oh bam! I can't autofocus. There we go. Bam! That's cute. Has a little clitoris. I don't know. I'm probably gonna rearrange this some way. It is very beautiful though. Janice received immunity for her cooperation and her role in, you know, getting everything figured out with the Hooker family. Although this was very controversial on the police department's part, there's no doubt that what she brought and what she offered in capturing Cameron was essential. She also brought to light that the couple had previously kidnapped and murdered a 19-year-old named Maury Elizabeth Spanhack, who had disappeared January 31st, 1976. This was not added to one of Cameron's charges because they could never find evidence. The remains were never found and there wasn't enough physical proof to convict him. So right now I'm building up the last of the flowers. I just have to put together 5 petals. Well, 10 total. 5 petals per. 5 petals per. I gotta shut up. I gotta stop talking. Okay, but we have 5 here. So I put together this little contraption. Yeah, look at that guy. And then I put in the middle of the flower. And then I just put these guys all around. So let's see. What the heck? How do you fit all 5? Am I stupid? Oh, I am stupid. I gotta fix this. Okay. I got the 2 little flowers right there. Now I just gotta put in the rest of these little flowers. And yeah, that's looking really good, guys. Last thing I gotta do is take these little brown bits, put them in the pots. While I do that, I will just say once again that this set represents hope, femininity, and protection. And then once again, Colleen's case is the story of resilience and the indomitable human spirits. Because after years, almost a decade of being trapped in that box, through both mental and physical abuse, she got out. That's all. See you. Bye-bye.